best teams are on top. The worst teams are on the bottom. And folks, the Minnesota Twins are on a roller coaster ride in the Power Rankings.
You are Locked On MLB, your daily MLB podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, baseball fans. Welcome to Locked On MLB, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. This is the daily podcast. We talk about all of Major League Baseball. I am your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. If you don't believe me, I just proved it. I have a lower third where I'm called Sully. I've been a baseball podcaster for well over a decade now, and this is my sixth full season as a host here on the Locked On Podcast Network. 5 days a week, I do a new episode here of Locked On MLB, and if that's not enough for you, then check out Locked On A's, where I am the host of that as well. So it's 5 other shows. You get 10 times your fun with me here. Follow us at Locked On MLB Pods on Twitter or whatever it's called now. I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball on Twitter, Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. And if you're listening to us every single day, well, do you what? If you want to post something on any of the sites, be sure to use that hashtag EverydaySully. And today's episode is brought to you by our good friends over at PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Why am I doing the whole Benihana thing here with my hands? Not 100% sure. Hey, before we dive head first into today's episode, let's take a quick peek at the trivia question. And the trivia question was about the use of relief pitchers by the great Casey Stengel. And Casey Stengel managed 6 World Series champions as a manager of the New York Yankees. But only one time did he have someone throw a complete game victory to clinch a World Series. Now, my mom guessed Don Larson. Don Larson did throw a complete game. He threw a no-hitter. He threw a perfect game. But that was in Game 5, not Game 7 of that World Series. Steve Colaterra guessed Jim Bouton. Now, Jim Bouton was a member of several great Yankee teams. He said 1962. That was actually Ralph Terry threw a complete game victory to clinch the 1962 World Series. But that is not the answer because Ralph Houck was the manager of that team. My good friend Marcel in Switzerland says, Whitey Ford? Nope, not Whitey Ford, not under Casey Stengel. The answer, and a couple of you did get it right. And I will just point out to Jonathan Curran, who said Johnny Cucks. The late Johnny Cucks threw a shutout at Ebbets Field in Game 7 of the 1956 World Series to clinch the World Series. He is an everyday Sully. Of all the great pitchers in Yankee history, the only one to throw a complete game victory to clinch a Casey Stengel Yankee World Series was Johnny freaking Cucks. Don Larson threw the no-hitter. He didn't do it. Whitey Ford, Eddie Lopat, Allie Reynolds, all these great, pitchers that they had on those teams. It was Johnny Cucks. You never know. You never know. We're going to be doing the power rankings once again. Someone posted on here, power rankings are meaningless. Okay, but I got to kill 5 episodes a week. If you've got a better idea for a weekly segment, go post it at Locked On MLB Pods on Twitter or on Instagram or down here at Sully Baseball. I'll be happy to do it. In fact, tomorrow's episode, a little preview for tomorrow's episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the managers who should be updating their LinkedIn accounts because, quite frankly, they should be looking for a job. And by the way, this week's Power Rankings is brought to you by LinkedIn. That was a complete accident. The Power Rankings, hey, wait a minute. Rich Kid Manila says, let's go Dodgers. Just wait. The Dodgers are in the Power Rankings. They're up very high. Are they number 1? We shall find out. Once again, the Power Rankings are done this way. There are many, many hosts of the Locked On MLB podcasts. I host 2 shows, but I only get 1 vote. We all vote for how we would arrange the power rankings. I do it, all the other hosts do it, and then we do it over the weekend, and on Monday, boom, we get our results. So these aren't necessarily where I'm ranking them. And do you know what I should do this week? Because I should have done it, and I'll do it for next week. I will tell you what the MLB host rankings were, where they were last week, and what mine were. And we'll see how they all come together right now. I'm not going to finish that lyric, otherwise we'll get sued. So these are the rankings we have of the team at this point. Some of them go up, some of them go down. It's not necessarily about who's the best record, but who seems to be the strongest or the weakest teams at this particular point. Well, let's get started. Let's go right down to the bottom. And at number 30, down 2 spots from last week, are the Chicago White Sox. They've dropped 6 of their last 10 games. They lost tonight 9-3 in Toronto. Really, really, really rough year for the Chicago White Sox. And, I'm not going to lie to you, it's kind of hard to watch. At number 29, up a spot because they were at the bottom, were the Miami Marlins, who actually won 6 out of their last 10 games and had a come from behind victory tonight in Milwaukee. Still not very good. Hey, you notice the shirt I'm wearing? It's for Old Wrigley Field in Los Angeles. There you go. They were the home of the Angels, and the Angels are currently at number 28. Down a spot from last week. They're 5-5. They had a big victory tonight against the Astros, who are a very confusing team. The Angels were losing 6-1, and then put a 7 spot up in the 5th inning. Very weird game between the Angels and the Astros, but the Angels are sitting there at number 28. At number 27, up 2 spots from last week, are your Colorado Rockies. The Rockies are off to Oakland, but the Rockies went on a big winning streak at one point. In fact, they won 7 of their last 10 games, just to show you at any point a bad team could go on a roll. And, wow, the A's are at number 26, down 10 spots. The fact that they've dropped 9 of their last 10 games doesn't even paint the picture. They haven't had a lead in over a week. Do you understand that? Forget a win. Their last 8 games, they haven't led at any point. This was a team who was at even 500 on May 4th, and here we are in just essentially 2.5 weeks later, and they are looking like the team we all thought they were going to be. Now, those are your bottom 5. Those are the 5 teams that realistically don't have a shot at the postseason. And number 24 and number 25, and number 23, 24, and 25 are inching their way towards no hope to be in the postseason, which is one reason tomorrow I'm going to talk a little bit about their managerial situation, because the Blue Jays, who are down 4 spots from last week, are number 25. The Reds, who have dropped 7 of their last 10 games, dropped 4 spots and are at number 24. And the Cardinals, who actually had a winning record in the last week. They went 6-4. But those groups, Cardinals, Red, and Blue Jays, all 3 of those teams should be contending. And they are inching closer to, well, maybe we'll go sell, which is a disgrace. And that's why the next show, I'm going to be talking primarily of those 3 teams and the fact that they need to do something big and drastic. And number 22, down 4 spots because they're miserable, dropping their 7 of their last 10 games, are the Washington Nationals. Now, the Nationals, they beat the tar out of the Minnesota Twins today. Lopez got bombed. And we're going to bring up the Twins in just a minute here. But it's been a bad week, save for the pounding of the Twins there for the Nats. The Pirates are up 3 spots, and they didn't play tonight. But some days they look very talented. Some days they look like a mess. And at number 20, up 2 spots, are the San Francisco Giants. I have no clue what to make of the Giants at this point. They've lost a couple of players to injury for the rest of the season. They're tough to figure out because sometimes they look like they're about to go on a big roll, and other times they look like a big pile of yikes. So those are your bottom 10. Now, when we move on, we're going to see how some of the other teams rank in this. And, well, you may be seeing your team moving up and down the proverbial ladder. I mentioned that Power Rankings are brought to you by LinkedIn. Let's talk a little bit about our friends over at LinkedIn. Are you struggling to close deals? Business to business selling, it's tougher than ever. And that's why I want to tell you about LinkedIn Sales Navigator. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is a sales intelligence platform that helps professionals effectively prospect and engage high-value customers, drive higher revenue, and increase sales performance. Sales Navigator helps you target the right buyers, surface key signals such as job changes or which accounts you should prioritize, and shows you hidden allies so you can find those buyers that are most likely to convert. Fueled by LinkedIn's 1 billion member platform, Sales Navigator gives you the most up-to-date first-party data, enabling you to unlock conversations with the people that matter. Right now, you could try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/lockedon. That's linkedin.com/lockedon for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/lockedon to get started. Hey, let me ask you a question. Where is your hub for getting your sports news and your sports takes? Can I recommend making the switch to Locked On Sports today? A free 24/7 streaming channel for sports that's programmed for you to bring you the biggest sports stories all around the world. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news. Streaming 24/7 on YouTube or on the free Amazon Fire TV channel app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Going up the rankings here, you got the New York Metropolitans at number 19. They were 19 last week. They dropped the game to the Cleveland Guardians today, and they've lost 7 of their last 10 games. And they're at even at 19. Very strange to try to figure out the Houston Astros. For a big chunk of this year, they were at one point they're in last place, and they looked like they were falling over themselves. It looked like only Blanco could win games, and they discovered something and some cheating going on there. And then they went on a great roll. They've won 7 of their last 10 games, but they lost today where they had a huge lead and then put a 7th spot up to the Angels, who are not exactly a threatening team. I don't understand the Astros, and neither do you. I do understand the Red Sox, who are down 3 spots to number 17. They've been an even 5-5 in their last 10 games. But as we saw in the 5-0 victory, they've shown some signs of some interesting parts of their team. Houck pitched very, very well. And you're starting to see some of the young players on that team are starting to put some stuff together. I don't think the Red Sox are going to win piddly-poo this year. Devers keeps hitting home runs at will and showing that he is an all-star and the leader of the team. But I think they have young players, and I think they're a little more exciting than people give them credit for. They're at even 500 right now. They may zig, they may zag, but I think they're putting together a foundation. Up 8 spots for reasons I don't 100% understand are the Arizona Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks lost tonight to the Dodgers. They're hovering 4 games under 500. They are the defending National League champions. And as I pointed out the other day, the middle teams are almost completely interchangeable. The Tigers are at number 15. They've dropped 4 of their last 6, including a frustrating game to the Kansas City Royals. It was an 8-3 final. It seemed a lot closer than that. The Tigers blew a bunch of chances to put a couple of runs on the board there. Olsen actually has been pitching well for Detroit and doesn't have a single win to show for it. Their bats just have a hard time getting that big hit unless they're playing Arizona the other day. Up 3 spots at number 14 are Tampa Bay. Now, they were shut up by the Red Sox tonight, but they've won 6 of their last 10 games. They still have a lot of talent on that team, and I think you sleep on them at your own peril. Down a spot to number 13 are the defending World Series champion Texas Rangers. They've dropped 7 of their last 10 games and are, but they were this team last year too. They had great runs, they had bad runs. They had great runs, they had bad runs. I think they will eventually right the ship. Up one spot, to number 12 after a 5-5 run are the San Diego Padres. They were shut out by Atlanta. Chris Sale has found the fountain of youth in Atlanta, but the Padres are still a very talented team, and I think will eventually become a big-time wild card contender. At number 11, having a complete it's the parabolic flight they used to simulate zero gravity in Apollo 13. They have went on that wild winning streak just a couple of weeks ago, and now they've dropped 8 of their last 10 games, including 7 in a row, getting pounded by the Nationals 12-3. I don't understand this team, and neither do you. But if the Twins wind up losing the division by a game or two, you're going to point to this big losing streak. If they win the division by a game or two, you're going to point to the big winning streak they had earlier. There are ebbs and flows to the Major League Baseball season, and the 24 and 23 Twins sometimes look like a champion, and sometimes look like a bunch of schmucks. So that is 11. That gives us everything but the top 10. Coming up, we have the top 10, and with that, we got to take a good long look at the teams that are elite, the teams that are okay, and the teams that, well, may take us by surprise. Hey, let's hear a little bit from our friends over at PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the number one daily sports fantasy site, and it's the great app with more than 3 million members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. Just pick more than and less than 2 or more players and watch the winnings roll in. You got the playoffs going on in the NHL and in the NBA. And baseball, you got some great games going on. And PrizePicks offers weekly promotions with special offers on the biggest moments in sports. And they offer Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits in your account this baseball season. All right, let's take a look at my PrizePicks here, and who are some of the picks we have going on. Austin Wells, they have more than 0.5 total bases. Luke Raley, they have less than 1.5 batter strikeouts. Jake Rogers, more than 0.5 total bases with Detroit. And then you have, let's just see, you have, go to the WNBA, and Derek Hamby, they have less than 9.5 rebounds. It's all sports going on there. You like hockey, you like basketball, you like women's basketball, you like baseball. That's where you got to go to the PrizePicks. Here's what you got to do. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Didn't hear me the first time? Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. It's PrizePicks. Pick more, pick less. Do you know what it is? It's that easy. This is just a reminder that Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's available on the Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channel app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channel app. Oh, we got a lot of people in the chat. We're doing this live here. And it looks like Johnny T16 and Argenis Richard are basically having a conversation. That's my chat is every single, they're just having a conversation. Hey, glad you two are getting to know each other. Let's go. At number 10, you got the Mariners, and the Mariners have won 6 out of their last 10 games. And they had a wild come-from-behind victory where Holmes finally wet the bed for the Yankees. Yankees let up 4 runs in the top of the ninth. And with that, the Mariners have won yet again. They're 4 games above 500. As I mentioned, they have images of a pennant that has never happened in franchise history dancing somewhere in their head. Chicago Cubs still want to win that division. They've dropped 6 of their last 10 games and stay at number 9. Kansas City's up 2 spots. They've won 7 of their last 10 games. And they wound up beating the Tigers 8-3 with a little help from the ageless wonder Salvador Perez and the youthful Bobby Witt Jr. in that game, where Waka won and Stratton wound up getting the save. The Milwaukee Brewers lost a gut punch game to the Miami Marlins 3-2, and they've gone 5-5 in their last 10 games, and they stayed exactly at the same spot at number 7. Also staying at the same spot at number 6 are the Cleveland Guardians. Lively won the game. That was a 3-1 victory against the New York Mets. The Guardians are still in first place and look pretty good. Now, those are all very good teams. Guardians, Brewers, Royals, Seattle, and Chicago. But then you have your five elite teams. At number 5, you have the Atlanta Braves, who are down a spot. They've split their last 5 games, but Chris Sale, who is he's the comeback player of the year. I think that's pretty obvious. Shut out the Braves 3-0. At number 4, down 3 spots, and they lost the game to the St. Louis Cardinals in Sonny Gray today. The Orioles have dropped 3 spots. They're at number 4, 6-4 of their last 10 games. Still look really, really good. At number 3, the team that has looked exceptional are the New York Yankees. They won the wild winning streak, the 8-game winning streak that was snapped today by the Seattle Mariners rally, but they still look tremendous, and they have dusted off the worries about how they're going to wind up playing without Garrett Cole. They're at number 3. And now, which 2 are going to be the top team? Will it be the Dodgers or will it be the Phillies? Well, I'll tell you right here and now. At number 2, staying at number 2, are the LA Dodgers. Yamamoto pitched well. Hudson wound up getting the save, and the Dodgers have won 6 of their last 10 games. And Freddie Freeman got a big grand slam. Ohtani and Betts are still tremendous players, and they are at number 2 this week. And at number 1, you have the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies have won 8 of their last 10 games. They look absolutely phenomenal. They won. Aaron Nola pitched well again on Sunday's game, where they won 11-5 over the Washington Nationals. And on Tuesday, the Phillies start their brand new series against, drumroll, the defending World Series champion Texas Rangers. So if you're keeping score at home, these are your power rankings. 1 through 10, Phillies, Dodgers, Yankees, Orioles, Braves, Guardians, Brewers, Royals, Cubs, Mariners. 11 through 20, you got the Twins, the Padres, the Rangers, the Rays, the Tigers, the Diamondbacks, the Red Sox, the Astros, the Giants, and the Mets and the Giants, sorry. And 21 through 30, you got Pittsburgh, Washington, St. Louis, Cincinnati, Toronto, the Oakland A's, the Colorado Rockies. Number 28, you got the Angels, 29, the Marlins, and 30, you've got the White Sox. Now, this is the last power ranking before Memorial Day. I think Memorial Day is realistically the first real checkpoint we have in this season. So when we next do our power rankings, we're going to be looking at teams that are playing basically in the summer. And we got to take a good long look at what teams need to do to move on. Well, and let me throw the trivia question out. What team had the longest losing streak? What team had the longest losing streak for an eventual World Series champion? There was a team that had the longest losing streak for a team that would eventually go on and win it all. In other words, even the best teams can go wet the bed for an extended period of time. Write your answers down here on YouTube and on Twitter or whatever it's called now. Oh, it's late. I got to go to bed. Talking about the power rankings and talking about the teams that are going up and going down. This has been Locked On MLB. I am your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call me Sully.